People threw rocks at a three-legged stray dog. Outside a bakery, they called him dangerous, rabid, worthless. Insults shouted. No one cared where he came from, until a security camera captured what really happened before he showed up. And when the footage surfaced, the world went silent, then broke into tears. It started with a sound, slow, uneven footsteps echoing down the street. People turned to see a battered, three-legged German shepherd limping toward the front of a small-town bakery. His fur was matted, his ribs visible beneath a weather-beaten coat, and dried blood clung to a wound on his side. Someone shouted, "Get that thing out of here!" The dog didn't bark. He didn't growl. He simply kept walking, slow, quiet, and strangely determined. An older man picked up a rock and threw it. It hit the dog's shoulder. He stumbled but didn't run. Another voice yelled, "He's diseased! Don't let him near the kids!" Mothers grabbed their children. Teenagers pointed and laughed. Someone hurled a cup. The dog paused, breathing hard. In his mouth, barely noticed, was something important. But no one saw it. All they saw was a stray limping toward their comfort zone, and they wanted him gone. What began with shouts quickly turned into something uglier. The dog stood silently, barely able to keep his balance, yet more people joined in. A teenage boy threw a half-eaten muffin. Another man tossed a bottle that shattered near the dog's feet. The German shepherd flinched but didn't growl. He didn't even raise his head. Someone from the bakery shouted, "Call animal control! That thing's dangerous!" The irony was thick. The only thing the dog had done was walk forward. He whimpered quietly, blinking as blood trickled from a fresh cut above his eye. His three legs trembled beneath him, but still, he didn't back away. People kept recording, laughing, yelling. Some encouraged the abuse. Others said nothing at all. And through it all, the dog continued moving forward, toward the bakery door, toward something only he seemed to understand. Not a threat. A message on three legs, misunderstood. Among the crowd stood Lily, a quiet 16-year-old with her phone in hand. But not to join the taunting. She wasn't filming for laughs. She was filming because something felt wrong. Unlike the others, she wasn't looking at the dog's scars. She was looking at his eyes, tired, focused, full of something deeper than fear. And then she noticed something the rest hadn't. Clenched in the dog's mouth wasn't trash. It was a torn satchel, dark brown and dirt-smeared, with a broken zipper and something bulging inside. Why would a stray carry a bag? Lily's instincts kicked in. She moved closer, staying behind a bench, still recording. "He's trying to bring something," she whispered to herself. "He's not attacking, he's delivering." But no one else saw it. No one cared to look that closely. Everyone wanted a monster. Lily had a feeling. They were herding a messenger. With one final labored step, the dog reached the bakery entrance. Shaking from exhaustion and blood loss, he slowly lowered his head and released the satchel from his jaws. It thudded softly on the pavement, torn open just enough to show a glimpse of something inside. Then, without a sound, the dog collapsed. Gasps rippled through the crowd. The laughter stopped. His body hit the ground hard, legs curled beneath him, chest rising in shallow, uneven breaths. For the first time, someone shouted, "Wait, what's in that bag?" Lily ran forward, ignoring the calls behind her. She knelt beside the dog and opened the satchel carefully. Inside were blood-stained papers, a child's photograph, and something even more haunting, a tiny baby's pacifier. The crowd fell silent. The dangerous stray hadn't come to beg or bite. He had come to bring someone's story home, and nearly died doing it. Still shaking, Lily brought the satchel inside the bakery and begged the owner to check the security cameras. "Please," she said, tears in her eyes. "You need to see where he came from." Reluctantly, the man pulled up the footage. What they saw changed everything. At 7:46 a.m., the camera caught the dog limping down the road, coming from the east. A wide shot revealed more. Behind him, in the distance, was the wreckage of a burned-out SUV, crashed into a tree just beyond the bakery's view. Frame by frame, they watched the three-legged dog dragging the satchel in his teeth through glass, smoke, and traffic. At one point, he was almost hit. At another, he collapsed briefly, then stood again. He had walked nearly a mile, bleeding and broken, just to get there. The crowd had attacked a survivor, but the footage told the truth. With shaking hands, Lily and the bakery owner emptied the satchel under police supervision. Inside were items that told a haunting story: an open wallet with blood-smeared IDs, a family photo folded in half, and a child's hospital bracelet tucked next to a small, dirt-covered pacifier. One officer recognized the name. "That's from the Anderson family," he said slowly. "They went missing 3 days ago." More clues spilled out: car registration, medical documents, and a crumpled parking pass dated just hours before the crash. Every item pointed to the same truth. The bag belonged to a family that had just been involved in a serious accident. But the most heartbreaking clue was a note scribbled in red pen, nearly unreadable. "If found, please help my daughter." The three-legged dog hadn't been lost. He had been sent, and he had done exactly what he was asked to do. The moment police confirmed the satchel belonged to the missing Anderson family, everything changed. Units were dispatched to the crash site just beyond the ridge. There, hidden behind brush and barely visible from the road, they found the wreckage. Inside, they discovered the parents, both deceased, but the back seat was empty. A search began immediately. Officers, firefighters, and even volunteers scoured the woods nearby. After nearly 2 hours, a deputy's voice cracked over the radio. "We found her, alive, cold, but breathing." A little girl, no older than 5, curled beneath a fallen log, was holding onto a blanket with blood and fur, dog fur. They realized the truth. The dog had pulled her out of the car, led her to safety, and then limped the rest of the way to town, carrying the bag as proof. He hadn't just survived, he'd saved her life. News spread like wildfire. The same people who had thrown rocks now stood in tears outside the animal hospital, candles and flowers in hand. The video Lily had taken of the abuse, the collapse, and the satchel's discovery went viral overnight. Headlines exploded: "Three-legged hero saves child after tragic crash." "Stray dog, misjudged and maimed, turns out to be a lifesaver." Social media called him hope, hero, miracle. But Lily only whispered one name: justice. Because that's what he'd brought. The same bakery that had once tried to chase him away now kept its doors open for donations to the local shelter. Children wrote letters. A mural was started on the side of the building, showing the three-legged shepherd standing proud. No one laughed anymore. No one looked away. The stray wasn't stray anymore. He was something far greater, a reminder. Justice remained at the animal hospital for several days. His wounds were deep, and he'd lost more blood than they initially thought. But he fought, just like he had on that long walk from the crash site. The vet later confirmed what stunned everyone. Justice's missing leg wasn't recent. It had been surgically amputated years ago, likely from another rescue, another sacrifice. This wasn't the first time he'd risked his life for someone else. "He's done this before," the vet murmured, gently stroking his head. "It's who he is." Lily visited every day, reading books to him and sitting by his side. The little girl he saved, now safe with relatives, sent a drawing, Justice carrying the bag with hearts all around him. When Justice was finally released, the town gathered at the bakery, the same spot where he was once attacked. But this time, no one threw rocks. The bakery owner stepped forward, eyes misty. "We can't undo what we did," he said quietly, kneeling beside the shepherd. "But maybe we can give you what you always deserved." Behind him stood Lily, holding a new collar engraved with his name, Justice. Cheers erupted as he took his first steps toward his new home, tail wagging, eyes bright. A plaque was placed on the bakery wall that read, "He came with a warning. We greeted him with fear, but he brought only truth and justice. Now he sleeps in a warm bed, gets treats instead of stones, and reminds every passerby, you never truly know someone's story until you choose to see it."